Welcome back, everybody. We know we've been out for a bit.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Need a little time to recharge.
Yeah,
but
you're back!
we are back, and we are so excited to jump into this.
Yes.
I have to say, this deep dive is very exciting for me.
I bet.
I'm very excited about this topic. Wicked, the movie.
Ooh.
I've already seen it twice.
Oh, wow. All right, well, I understand the obsession, I have to say. It's really fascinating how Wicked manages to be both like a visual spectacle, but also a story that just really digs into societal dynamics. This is not just your average musical.
It's so much more.
Yeah.
And you know what I was really impressed with?
What's that?
How the film really expanded on the stage production.
Yeah.
I feel like you really get a deeper understanding of Elphaba's journey.
Yeah, and just kind of the forces that shape her choices, you know? I feel like in a way the film is just kind of saying like, hey, let's peel back the layers of Oz and see what's really going on.
Yeah.
And what we find are themes of political manipulation, social ostracization, the dangers of blind faith.
It's all presented in this, like, dazzling, magical package. And the performances, oh my gosh. Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba.
Oh, she's incredible.
Her voice.
Phenomenal.
And Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
I was a little hesitant,
I think a lot of people were.
but she really surprised me.
Totally. Their
Nice.
chemistry is fantastic.
Yeah.
What I think is really interesting is the way that the film uses those close-up shots to just really amplify the emotional impact. You know, like remember that scene at the Ozdust ballroom where Elphaba's dancing alone? On stage, that's played for laughs.
Yeah.
But in the film, you see the pain on Elphaba's face, her isolation. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it really makes you think about, like, how cruel people can be, you know, towards people that are different. How quickly people turn on, you know, those that they perceive as other. And I think that's something that we're seeing a lot of today, you know, in the world.
Oh, absolutely. Think about the way that the talking animals are treated in Oz. I mean, they're scapegoated, their rights stripped away, their voices silenced. Dr. Dillamond's line about, you know, people needing someone to blame when times get tough. Chillingly relevant.
It's a gut punch.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes you think, right? Like, how easy it is for that fear and prejudice to take root,
Yeah.
even in a world as seemingly fantastical as Oz.
And that's where I think this whole woke conversation comes in, because Wicked isn't just reflecting these issues, it's actively challenging them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a story that's asking you to, like, question authority, stand up for what you believe in, even when it's unpopular. It's about embracing those who are different, celebrating individuality, fighting for a more just world.
And that's pretty woke, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Especially considering when this musical first premiered. It was ahead of its time in many ways.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
And I feel like you can see that debate playing out online right now.
Yeah.
Some people are calling the film, you know, too woke. They're saying it's pushing an agenda.
But that's the thing. Wicked is a story about perspective. It's about recognizing that there are multiple sides to every story and about, you know, challenging those in power who control the narrative.
Like when the wizard says, you know, you're not being told the whole story, I feel like the film is winking at us.
Yeah.
Saying, don't just accept what you're told. Think for yourself.
Exactly. And I think that's such an important message, especially now in a world where you know information is constantly being manipulated, where truth is often elusive. That message feels more relevant than ever.
It's like Wicked is giving you permission to question, to challenge, to defy. Speaking of defying, can we talk about defying gravity?
Oh, of course.
Because that scene in the film is
breathtaking.
breathtaking. And the way they break up the song in the film, it just heightens the tension.
Yeah.
The significance of Elphaba's decision to reject the wizard and embrace her own power.
It is such a powerful moment, but it's also kind of heartbreaking in a way because you know that choice is going to have consequences.
Definitely sets the stage for what's to come in part 2.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's unpack some of the other fascinating changes the film makes to the stage production. For example, that whole extended one short day section.
Oh my Oz, yes. That whole, like, Wizomania sequence. Talk about a visual feast.
Right.
And the cameos. I mean, I knew they were coming. But
Oh, I know. Well, let's dive into those after a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more from our deep dive into Wicked. So before we got totally sidetracked by Defying Gravity,
Easy to do.
which, let's be honest, it is.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were talking about those delightful additions
Yeah.
the film makes to the One Short Day sequence.
Oh, yes. That whole Wizomania spectacle they create to kind of explain the wizard's backstory. It's
Yeah.
like a mini musical within the movie.
Yeah, it's so clever.
Pure genius.
It's a really clever way to delve deeper into the wizard's character, I think.
Yeah.
You know, showing how he uses spectacle and manipulation to gain power. And let's not forget
Oh.
those cameos.
Yes?
I mean, seeing Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth reprise their roles.
I know.
Even for just a brief moment,
It was everything.
it was
Deb.
pure magic for any Wicked fan.
Oh, I was grinning ear to ear during that whole sequence.
Me too.
And it wasn't just them.
Oh, no.
Steven Schwartz pops up as an Ozian soldier.
I know.
Winnie Holzman
Stop.
is there too.
I love it.
Totally starstruck by the wizard. It's like they're winking at the audience.
Yeah.
Acknowledging, this whole interconnected world of the Wizard of Oz and Wicked.
It's delightful.
Yeah, it's a really delightful touch.
Yeah.
But, even amidst all the glitz and glamour of Wizomania,
Right.
the film doesn't shy away from those kind of darker undercurrents.
Absolutely. And you see that in how the film handles the Oz Dust ballroom scene
Yes.
on stage that's mostly played for laughs,
Yeah, Elphaba in that ridiculous hat
Yes.
trying to fit in.
Exactly. But in the film, with those close-ups
Right.
on Elphaba's face,
Yeah.
you feel her isolation, the sting of rejection so much more intensely.
Oh, so much more.
It's the power of film, isn't it?
It-
It can take a moment that's comedic on stage
Right.
and
yeah.
add these layers of nuance and pathos.
Yeah.
You're right there with Elphaba experiencing her pain and humiliation.
Yeah. You really feel for her.
It's just a stark reminder of how easily society can turn on those who are different.
Hmm. It's like the film is saying, look, this isn't just a fun, fantastical story.
Right.
This is about real-world issues.
Yes.
Of prejudice and exclusion.
Precisely. And those themes continue to resonate as Elphaba makes her pivotal decision
Yes.
in Defying Gravity.
Yeah.
It's not just about her rejecting the wizard, it's about her rejecting the labels
Mhm.
that society has placed on her, choosing her own path, even if it means being labeled wicked.
And speaking of defying gravity, can we talk about the music for a second?
Oh, please.
Because one thing that really elevates Wicked is Steven Schwartz's score. I mean,
It's so good.
it's not just catchy.
Mhm.
It's so clever.
Oh my God.
The way he uses recurring musical themes to add depth to the story,
Oh, it's fascinating.
it blows my mind.
Right. It's so smart.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Take Elphaba's theme, for example.
Okay,
It's introduced in the very first song, No One Mourns the Wicked,
right.
and it pops up throughout the score.
Hmm.
But it's not just a simple repetition.
Yeah.
Schwartz transforms it,
Right.
sometimes making it dark and ominous,
Yeah.
sometimes tender and vulnerable, just like Elphaba herself.
So it's like her theme is evolving alongside her character,
Exactly.
reflecting her, internal struggles and transformations.
Yes, you hear it in The Wizard and I when she's full of hope.
Right.
Then again in Defying Gravity as she embraces her power and it takes on a completely different tone, defiant and powerful.
It's brilliant.
It is.
It's like a secret musical language that adds this whole other layer of meaning
Yes.
to this story.
Yeah.
And it's not just Elphaba's theme.
Right.
There's also the Unlimited theme,
Oh, yes.
which I have to admit totally blew my mind when I learned about it.
The Unlimited theme, such a subtle nod to The Wizard of Oz, wouldn't you say?
Okay.
Schwartz cleverly borrows the first 7 notes of Over the Rainbow and weaves them into this new melody.
It's like he's connecting the two worlds musically,
Yeah.
but with a twist.
But with a twist, because while Over the Rainbow represents hope and dreams,
Right.
the Unlimited theme in Wicked takes on a darker, more cynical tone,
Yes.
reflecting the story's subversion of the classic tale.
Yeah, it's like those borrowed notes from Over the Rainbow
Mhm.
have been twisted, corrupted by the wizard's ambition.
Precisely. And that's the brilliance of Schwartz's score.
Yeah.
He takes these familiar melodies, these iconic themes,
Right.
and reworks them, subverts them
Yeah.
to create something entirely new and thought-provoking.
And the beauty of it is you don't
Yeah.
even need to consciously recognize these motifs to be affected by them.
Right.
They work on like a subconscious level,
Exactly.
adding emotional depth and complexity to the story.
It's masterful.
Okay, that's what makes it so genius.
Right.
But before we get too lost in the musical weeds,
Right.
although I could talk about this all day,
Me too.
we have to address that cliffhanger ending
Oh, yes.
of part 1.
Of part 1.
Because even though I know what happens in the musical,
Yeah.
seeing it play out on screen
I know.
was intense.
It was intense. That ending definitely leaves you wanting more.
More.
Part 2 promises even higher stakes.
Yes.
With Elphaba embracing her role as the so-called Wicked Witch of the West.
Right.
Glinda grappling with her own journey as Glinda the Good.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the arrival
And then
as a certain Kansas farm girl.
the ruby slippers are going to take on a whole new meaning.
They are.
That's for sure. But it's not just about the plot twists, is it?
No.
The ending of part 1 really drives home the idea that good and evil aren't always so clear-cut.
Right.
Elphaba makes choices that some might consider wicked,
Mm-hmm.
but her intentions are good.
Yeah.
She's fighting for what she believes in, even if it means going against the grain.
It's a powerful message, especially in today's world where things are rarely black and white.
Yeah. Wicked encourages us to look beyond the surface,
Yeah.
to question the narratives we're given, and to recognize the complexities of morality.
And that brings us back to the woke debate, doesn't it?
It does.
Because at its core, Wicked is a story about challenging the status quo, fighting for social justice.
Yes.
And embracing those who are different.
Exactly. And whether you embrace the term woke or not,
Right.
it's hard to deny that Wicked embodies many of those ideals.
Yeah.
It's a story that asks us to think critically about the world around us, to challenge those in power, and to fight for a more just and equitable society.
And that's a message that resonates deeply
People.
with a lot of people, which is probably why Wicked continues to be so popular.
I think so.
But there's one more crucial aspect of the Wicked phenomenon
Yes.
we haven't fully explored yet, the music itself.
The music.
We've touched on the motifs and how they add depth to the story, but there's so much more to unpack.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Schwartz's score is not just catchy and memorable.
It is that.
Yeah.
It's woven with these intricate layers of meaning.
Yeah.
The way he uses melody, harmony, and rhythm
Right.
to enhance the emotional impact of the story.
It's masterful.
It is simply mastery.
So you're saying there's even more to uncover.
Oh, yeah.
More secrets hidden within those soaring melodies.
Absolutely. To truly appreciate the brilliance of Wicked,
Okay.
we need to delve even deeper into the musical heart of the story,
Right.
exploring how the music enhances the themes,
Okay.
the characters, and the emotional impact.
Okay. You've officially piqued my curiosity.
Good.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's dive into the musical depths of Wicked.
Yes.
All right, so you've promised me a journey into the musical heart of Wicked.
Yeah.
I'm ready to have my mind blown.
Because we're about to uncover some musical gems you might not have noticed before.
Okay.
Let's start with one of the most iconic numbers,
Yes.
Defying Gravity. I mean, it's not just a showstopper.
Right.
It's a turning point in the story.
Yeah. Both dramatically and musically.
Okay, so break it down for me.
Yeah.
What's so special about the music
Okay.
in Defying Gravity?
Well, think about how the song builds.
Okay.
It starts with Elphaba feeling trapped,
Mhm.
questioning everything she's been told. The music reflects that struggle.
Yeah.
It's almost hesitant, uncertain.
Right.
But then as she makes the choice to defy the wizard,
Yeah.
to embrace her own power,
Right.
the music soars.
It's like that moment, when she literally defies gravity.
Yes.
Rising above the stage.
Yes.
The music takes you right along with her.
Exactly. And notice how Schwartz uses the orchestra.
Okay.
I mean, the brass section comes in with this powerful fanfare. The strings are swirling. The percussion is driving the rhythm forward. It's a musical representation of Elphaba's liberation, her defiance of the rules that have held her back.
And you can't forget Elphaba's vocal performance.
Oh, my God.
I mean, those high notes.
Yes.
The power, the emotion.
Chills.
Gives you chills.
Absolutely. But it's not all triumph and victory. Elphaba knows this choice is going to have consequences. She's leaving behind everything she's ever known, embracing a path that will likely lead her to be labeled wicked.
It's like the music is foreshadowing
Yes.
the struggles she's going to
A
face.
bittersweet victory.
Bittersweet.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that makes Wicked so compelling. It doesn't shy away from the complexities of good and evil, right and wrong.
Yeah.
The music reflects that complexity, giving you both the soaring highs and the heart-wrenching lows.
Yeah. It's a roller coaster
It is.
of emotions. And the music is right there with you.
Every step of the way.
Every step of the way. Now, let's talk about how Schwartz uses motifs
Yes.
to connect different moments in the story.
Yes.
Remember the unlimited theme we discussed earlier?
Yes.
That borrowed snippet of Over the Rainbow? It pops up in some unexpected places.
It does.
Okay, refresh my memory. Where else does that theme appear?
Well, you hear it in Dancing Through Life, which on the surface is a fun, carefree song.
Okay.
But if you listen closely,
Right.
that unlimited theme takes on a slightly darker tone.
So it's like it's hinting at the darker side of Fiero's carefree philosophy.
Precisely. It's like the music is telling us, hey, this pursuit of pleasure and freedom, it might not be all it's cracked up to be. And you hear it again in Wonderful, which is the wizard's big number.
Oh, wow. I never noticed that before.
Really?
So what's the significance of that?
Well, it's like Schwartz is connecting the wizard's manipulation and control to this idea of unlimited power. It's a subtle way of suggesting that the wizard's version of wonderful might not be so wonderful for everyone.
It's like those borrowed notes from Over the Rainbow have been twisted, corrupted
Yes.
by the wizard's ambition.
Exactly. And that's the brilliance of Schwartz's score. He takes these familiar melodies, these iconic themes, and reworks them, subverts them to create something entirely new and thought-provoking.
It's like he's challenging us to listen differently.
Yes.
To hear those familiar notes with fresh ears.
Precisely.
Okay.
And that's what makes this deep dive into Wicked so rewarding. It's not just about enjoying the spectacle and the story. It's about uncovering those hidden layers, those musical nuances that add depth and complexity to the experience.
It's about understanding how the music works in tandem with the lyrics.
Yes.
The performances, the visuals.
Yeah.
To create this truly immersive,
Yes.
unforgettable experience.
And that's something you don't get from just listening to the soundtrack.
Right.
You have to experience Wicked live,
Yeah.
whether on stage or on screen, to fully appreciate the power of its storytelling.
Well, I think you've officially convinced me to see the movie again.
Good.
And this time I'll be listening with a whole new set of ears.
Excellent, because the more you listen, the more you'll discover, and that's the beauty of great art. It keeps revealing new layers, new insights every time you engage with it.
And that's what we strive to do here on the Deep Dives.
Yes.
We want to help you uncover those hidden depths, those aha moments that make you see the world in a new way.
So the next time you find yourself listening to a piece of music, watching a film, or reading a book, take a moment to really listen, to really look, to really think. You might be surprised by what you discover.
And remember, as Elphaba teaches us sometimes, it's the things that make us different.
Yes.
The things that make us wicked, that make us truly extraordinary. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Wicked. We'll see you next time.